Hello everyone, today I'm going to be reviewing Fiona Apple's Extraordinary Machine album track by track, and let's get into it. So the first track is going to be the title track, Extraordinary Machine. I think that this is a great opener, definitely has to be up there for me on the album. Love the instrumentation on this one, definitely sounds like there's some clarinets and woodwind instruments, which I always appreciate, and I think that she has a good vocal performance on here as well. And with the lyrics, they were definitely something that stood out to me. With the chorus, she literally says, "Be kind to me or treat me mean, I'll make the most of it, I'm an extraordinary machine." Like, no matter what you say to me, I'm just going to find a way to kind of basically prove you wrong, rise above, and have success in my own way. It's kind of just something that I'm used to and stuff like that, and like, it is what it is. And I found that to be very relatable particularly, and I just really enjoy it. I think that it's a good way to start off the album, and it's a really good title track. Track 2 is Get Him Back. This is definitely my favorite song on this album and my favorite Fiona Apple song, period. I just love the lyrics on here. I think that it's super catchy as well, and she's basically just talking about things that went wrong in a relationship and saying like, but wait till I get him back. A lyric that stood out to me is whenever she said, "I think he let me down when he didn't disappoint me." And I think she's basically just saying she's gotten used to a certain kind of guy, so whenever she meets somebody that's completely different from that, it is just kind of like odd. You know, she has to like adjust her expectations because she's so used to the same thing, so in a way, like, it is letting her down and stuff like that, but it's kind of sad because of what she's got used to. At least that's kind of what I read from it. I was just listening to the Apple originals of this album, which you can buy on iTunes, and she was saying that it was basically about all of her relationships and stuff, and that was pretty autobiographical except for the ending part about getting him back basically. And she said that she just wanted to end the song off on a high note basically, which was kind of interesting to me, just a bird's eye view of these relationships and stuff like that. And even though someone doesn't really treat you the best, you still kind of want them back. And like people said, it's kind of that double meaning of like, you're either going to get revenge on them or you're going to get them back, but ultimately, you know, you're going to get something out of it. And so we've had songs like this with Olivia Rodrigo, Getting Back, which I love. Taylor Swift had a record, I'm Gonna Get You Back, on the new album, which wasn't really my jam, but I think that this is a great record overall, just in terms of lyrical stuff, as I mentioned. But I also really enjoyed the production on here as well, the instrumentation, thought it had a great groove to it, and I liked her vocal on here a lot. Track 3 on this album is Oh Sailor. I don't really go for this song particularly, to be honest with you. I just feel like it's kind of boring to listen to. I really think it is, just the way that everything comes together in terms of the instrumentation. I feel like the chorus is kind of lackluster. It's honestly a skip on the sound for me. Track 4 is Better Version of Me. I think that this song is really great lyrically, especially the beginning and her vocabulary there and just the vocal delivery. And then I just really like the chorus. I think it's super catchy. And then the second verse, "Can't take a good day without a bad one, don't feel a justice amount until I've had one. What did I learn? I make a fuss about a little thing, the rhyme is losing to the riddling. Where's the turn? I don't want a home, I'd ruin that. Home is where my habits have a habitat. Why give it a turn?" And so yeah, that's kind of what really stood out to me lyrically. It's just very self-aware about all her little quirks and stuff like that, imperfections, and then she's saying, "Here's coming a better version of me." So I think that she basically is acknowledging that, being self-aware, and understanding that I still want to improve and there's still so much more that I can do. I just really enjoyed it lyrically. I thought the production was really interesting to listen to, and I liked the vocal performance on it. Track 5 is Tim's The Sick in the Head song. So she's kind of just talking about a relationship and saying like, why do I keep going back to him, letting him change my plans and my life and stuff like that, like kind of what's wrong with me and everything. And it's kind of what the song is, basically just talking about relationships again. And so I thought it was really catchy lyrically overall with the vocal deliveries. I like the production. I think that it stands out on the album, and I think that she had a good vocal performance here as well. So yeah, this is probably one of my favorites on this album. Track 6 is Parting Gift. So basically in this one, she's talking about a relationship and, you know, things that have happened all the way throughout it, red flags and stuff like that. Like in the second verse, talking about she took off her glasses whenever she was getting yelled at and that entire situation. And then I really like the chorus on this record as well. I think that it's great. And then she's saying that it ended bad and I love what we started, you know, we should have stopped it, and just kind of the demise of a relationship essentially. So I just really like whenever she gets into the chorus and the piano and all that stuff and the moment with the verses and stuff. So I think it was good musically. I like the vocals on here. I like the songwriting, and I think it's a great record. Track 7 is Window, and I really couldn't remember how I felt about this song like before I had re-listened to it yet again. And I think the verses on the song are good. The chorus just isn't particularly my favorite. So honestly, I can leave this one. Like, it is probably going to be a skip for me and everything. Yeah, I thought it was kind of odd that I couldn't really remember remember how I felt about it, because usually I distinctly remember how I feel about songs, but it was okay. I think there's just way better songs on the album, to be honest with you. The chorus really did it in for me. Track 8 is Oh Well, and I think that this is a phenomenal record, and yeah, I think just it's a very emotive vocal performance, and you can tell that she really put everything into this one. And I mean, even the lyrics, there's a lot to read here. In verse 2, what you did to me made me see myself something awful. A voice once stentorian is now again meek and muffled. And so she tells the whole story of this song in concert. I'll link that below, and if I forget, please remind me in the comments. But yeah, it kind of seems like it was just basically her writing about getting cheated on and something like that, which makes a lot of sense with the lyrics, you know, made me see myself something awful, like I kind of like lost confidence and stuff like that because of the cheating. It makes sense in that, and also maybe just kind of like emotionally and stuff like that. I had confidence in myself, but whenever you keep beating me down because of my imperfections or my looks or whatever else, like eventually, you know, when someone tells you all those negative things, a lot of times it catches up to you. So I think that kind of has a double meaning there. It took me such a long time to get back up. The first time you did it, it's been all I had to get it back, and now it seems I've been outbidded. And then in the chorus, she says, my peace and quiet was sold for me. When I was looking for calm affection, you were searching out my imperfection. What wasted unconditional love on somebody who doesn't believe in this stuff. So yeah, I think there's just a lot with this in terms of lyric, basically just talking about a relationship where she is mistreated, underappreciated, and you know, cheating and stuff like that definitely takes a toll as well. So I think that there's so much in this lyrically, but I also really like the production on here as well and the vocal delivery. Track 9 is Please Please Please. I really like this one, and I learned today that apparently it's her least favorite song she's ever done, is because the label asked her to do another song for the record, basically made her do another one. So that's kind of like why the lyrics are the way that they are, kind of giving me the same shades as like Sarah Bareilles' love song. The label wanted her to write another song, so she wrote that, basically kind of like saying that, and then she had a hit out of it. Kind of interesting in that regard, but I like the record. Track 10 is Red Red Red, and I think that this song is just brilliant in a songwriting perspective. I mean, look at the first verse and the chorus, amazing, and then this is toward the end. But I think what really summed up the song is whenever she says, and I don't understand, I never understand, but I'll try to understand. There's nothing else I can do. Trying to make sense of a situation that doesn't really make sense. I think that's basically what this entire song is, you know, in the respect of a relationship. So I think that her songwriting on here is absolutely spectacular. Great vocals, the production is kind of moody to it, which I really like, and I think suits the song quite well. So underrated gem. Track 11, Not About Love. I really enjoy this one, especially the bridge, the vocal deliveries there, the way that the instrumentation switches up as well. I think it's really cool to listen to. I also think that this one has a playfulness to it that I like. The 12th and final track is Waltz, Better Than Fine. I really enjoy this one just because it's a really positive and comforting song to end it off, and she said that this is something she wrote kind of as a pep talk to herself, and so I really like the instrumentation, all the horns going on all the way throughout there. I thought the vocals were lovely and good songwriting overall. Nice way to end off the album. So recapping my favorite songs on this album really quickly, Extraordinary Machine is definitely a favorite. Get Him Back, Better Version of Me, Tim's The Sick in the Head song, and Oh Well, I would say are like my absolute favorites. My overall thoughts on this album, I really enjoy it. A lot of Fiona fans don't really go up for this album. They would often say that it's her worst or one of her weakest albums, and I've said this before, but I really disagree with that. I think a lot of the reasons why people don't really go up for this album is it's not really as edgy in terms of the productions and kind of like dark and moody as some of her other projects, like A One the Pond, for example. But I really kind of like that about this album, the differences with the production and stuff. And I know people tend to prefer the John Bryan version, which I haven't heard to this day, just out of respect for her as an artist and everything, because that leaked. But I mean, I really like what we were given here. I still think that she is really strong lyrically. I gave you many examples throughout the video, and I've always said about Fiona Apple that I love that she writes really relatable lyrics and stuff, but even if you don't relate to the lyrics, just the emotional conviction and everything, you can definitely like feel exactly where she's coming from. I also think she has a great vocabulary as well and a great way of fitting words together, so I think lyrically this is a very strong project. I like her vocal performances on here generally. She's a great piano player, and I really like the instrumentation. I feel like it's pretty dynamic on this record, and I enjoyed most of the songs in it. Oh, I don't know, years after this album has come out and many times we listen to it, I really don't get what's not to like about it. It's definitely one of my favorite Fiona Apple albums, and so it kind of just came into my head like, hey, I should review it this week. Then I remembered that Fiona Apple's birthday is on September 13th, so happy early birthday to Fiona. Definitely one of my favorite artists ever, and I always recommend getting into her if you haven't already. I would recommend starting off with When the Pawn though, and then work your way kind of chronologically through there. I think it's a little bit easier as a way to start off with. A lot of people really go for that album particularly. But yeah, I had a lot of fun doing this video, and I hope that you guys enjoyed my review. I've done other videos on Fiona Apple. I'll link them at the end of this video and down below in the description if you would like to check those out. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you did enjoy it, give it a like below. It helps me a lot to algorithm. I'd very much appreciate it. You can subscribe if you'd like to see more videos like this. I post every single week on this channel doing album reviews, album reactions, and so I've really been trying to do a lot more album reviews recently because it's something I was really trying to do a lot of this year. And so every week I post. If you hit the bell, you get notification for when I post, and not miss any videos come out. This link down below is going to be my second channel and my latest video on there. Oftentimes on there, I'm talking about the music industry and just current topics and stuff. So some of my recent videos, I ranked Ariana Grande and The Weeknd's collaborations. I gave my thoughts there. Ranked Michael Jackson's title tracks, and I discussed the Beatles' Hell versus Rubber Soul, which was the better album. Do y'all want a Destiny's Child album at this point, or a tour? I gave a reaction to Flo's Bending My Rules and share my thoughts. I discussed who I thought should win at the VMAs for most iconic performance. And so yeah, this is the kind of stuff I typically do, but I also make videos about Dance Mom, so that's one of my favorite shows ever. I talk about the NFL and the WNBA sometimes because I like sports and just whatever. So I post every single day on the channel. If you want to see more of me, more shorter form content, then you can subscribe over there. And then also gonna have social media. So I have Twitter, Instagram, Spotify, TikTok accounts, Airbuds if you want to follow me on my other platforms. And then also Free Palestine. This is something we must educate ourselves on. And lastly, make sure you're registered to vote. I'll be voting for Kamala in November. But thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in my next one.